All right, welcome back, folks. We're continuing the 2015 Kawasaki Teryx 4 800 project. We had to pull the motor. We're having to tear it down in order to replace the bevel gear and related bearing that's bad within the transmission, which is part of the engine and tranny are all one part or one piece with this setup. You can watch some of the other videos as we've progressed through this project. Tonight we're removing the cylinder head and the jug on each cylinder. This here that you're looking at is going to be the rear piston. So we've already removed the jug that the piston goes through as part of the cylinder, and then on top of the jug would be your cylinder head. So we're going to come over here to the other side, to the front cylinder and piston and all that, and we're going to start removing that. Now, the valve cover here has already been off because we've already had to remove the timing chain, which was on another video. Camshaft's out of there. That's already come apart. So we're going to go ahead and start filming here, showing you what it takes to remove this. About the only thing you're going to need is probably a decent impact to break the head bolts loose. They are a 14 millimeter head. You also need an 8 millimeter socket for a couple smaller bolts that are located around this area. Let me get this set up here. Ready to get this thing back on the road. It's been long enough. All right. As you can see, you have your 4 main head bolts here. They take a 14 millimeter socket. And then up here, you should have one 8 millimeter bolt remaining. It holds the rest of this in place as far as the cylinder head. Once we get the cylinder head removed, there will probably be a few more 8 millimeter bolts that are holding the jug to the rest of the block. And inside here, on each side, you have the timing chain guides. There's a relatively loose one on this side, and you have another one on the bottom side that are kind of sort of hold that cylinder head in place while you're trying to remove it. Well, it'd help if I did the 8 millimeter like I told y'all about. I just like to take a rubber mallet and kind of tap on it, and once you see a gap starting between the cylinder head and the jug, then you know you most likely got all your bolts removed. I don't know if y'all can see that on this side here. I can see there is a gap there, so we're good to go. Pretty much a mirror image of the other side, so make sure all these bolts are loose all the way. And I'm anal. I like to keep the same bolts in the same location when I'm doing these projects as much as possible anyway. I will be replacing the head gaskets and all this along with that, so these are not a big deal. Set them off to the side. Little head gasket there. Metal type. There's one of your timing chain guides. It kind of just clips in. Oh, you can't see it here. It actually clips in on the jug here, what we're calling a jug. It'll go in this way and clip down in there. These two, this right here will clip onto this location right there. Take lots of pictures when you're doing this because you never know what you're going to forget. So we've removed the cylinder head. What we have left is the actual cylinder, or what they call in a motorcycle world, the jug. On a standard like automobile engine, typically the cylinder is actually part of the actual engine block. Typically it's cast in. With a lot of motorcycle engines, the jug can be removed and replaced and your block is still intact. So like I said earlier, we have a few 8mm bolts where you need to remove. We have 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 of them remaining. And if you're wondering, there were a lot other bolts in place earlier. We just happened to get down to the bottom of this. You start with your valve cover, then you go to your cylinder head, and then now your jug. Y'all don't laugh at my oversized ratchet. Didn't feel like messing with a 3/8 drive tonight. Look at the top of the piston, you can see a little carbon buildup. The engine, off the top of my head, I don't remember how many hours are on this motor. The unit has approximately 2,400 miles. The bevel gear issue happened about 500 miles ago, and I've been pushing its luck. We do a lot of out-of-state riding though, like in Arkansas and some of the national parks. We live here in Texas, and I'm just afraid this thing's gonna end up leaving me stranded. And when it does go out, you know, if that bevel gear or bearing KO or crater, they're liable to knock a hole in the block. So I figured it's time I pulled it down. So same thing, I'm gonna tap on it, knock it loose a little bit, rotate the piston. You can see if I pushed it down, I don't know if y'all could see that. Trying to be careful because the piston on the other side is just flopping around in there. It's a flopper. It don't have no cylinder to be sitting in. So anyway, be real careful. Try to push it towards the bottom because your piston rings are making contact with the inside of the jug or cylinder. A lot of times you can feel right here at the upper edge to see if you have a ridge from carbon and wear, and we don't feel a whole lot of wear. Like I say, the unit's only got about 2,400 miles on it, 25, something like that. It's been a fantastic buggy. 3-inch lift, bracket lift with 30-inch tires, no clutch work. Absolutely no other issues from this. Has not once left me stranded. I don't know how many Polarises I've pulled out the woods. Hell, I even pulled a Viking out the Yamaha Viking out the woods. It actually was pulling me out because I was stuck, and he, the old boy, bent his tie rod, pulling me backwards, and so I had to, after we got me unstuck, I had to go back to camp, get a 12-foot lowboy or 12-foot utility trailer, and had to drag that sucker off into the woods and grab the Viking and pull it out the damn woods. So the machine's been awesome. Like I say, if it wasn't for this bevel gear, and I wouldn't even have known, but it does a whining noise under throttle going forward. If you're going reverse, it makes a noise under power going, or off the throttle in reverse. So if you're going reverse under power, it don't make a noise. You let off, it whines. Forward, under throttle, going forward, you hear it whine, you let it, or you don't have no problem, you let off the gas, it starts whining. That's how I know it was there. Anyway, so there's your jug on this side. So what's left, and we're going to shoot another video in a few minutes. What's left, I have to continue taking the, I would call it the gear case cover, which is about right here, this area in here. I'm going to remove that, and at that point I can probably start continuing to disassemble this half of the motor and what they call it splitting the case. And if you can see, there's a fault line all through here, and that'll allow the two pieces of the engine block to be split in half, which will allow me access to the bevel gear, which is a 90-degree gear to this shaft. It comes in this way, and so it's back behind here. But anyway, that's it. That's removing a valve, or correction, that's removing a cylinder head, which is this, and a jug or cylinder, whatever you want to call it, on a 783cc Kawasaki V-twin engine. So stay tuned. We're going to continue doing this thing, and hopefully we get it back on the road soon, because I'm ready to ride. Y'all take care. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want. Be waiting for more videos. Hopefully we'll have some fun videos coming soon. There she is over there under the tarp.